This podcast is brought to you by BestBonobos, the AI-powered platform that helps you sell your small business yourself.
Hello and welcome to Business Owners Unfiltered. My name is Cassidy Miller and I'm going to be your host for today. And today we are joined by Sebastiaan Winter, one of the co-founders of BestBonobos. Hi Sebastiaan, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. Yourself?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm really excited to get this interview going and get some more insight into yourself and BestBonobos as a whole.
Yeah, it's the start of the series, so I'm excited.
Exactly. You're a big guest, so we're going to have to do this one right.
Absolutely. Well, we will get it right. Don't worry.
Exactly. Well, just to start off, before we get into anything else, can you show us a little bit about your background and what led you into entrepreneurship?
Well, I think the entrepreneurship has always been inside me. As a little kid, I had my little ventures. I'm not sure if you heard about it, but we do collect old Christmas trees after the 6th of January. And when you collect them, you can give them to the government and you get like a dime each.
Yeah.
So they can recycle those trees. And I was king of the Christmas trees. So I had thousands in my parents' backyard and they were a bit worried about it, but it gave me some pocket money to spend during the year. And that's how my entrepreneurship continued throughout the years. I did study small business and retail management, which gave me some background in how to operate a business and everything that comes with it. And from there on, I just grew into the entrepreneurship. I did, however, have some corporate jobs in between. But about 15 years ago, I started with my first venture and then I kept on going.
Yeah, sounds good. I can definitely relate to having the entrepreneurship as a young age as well. I was doing a lot of selling bags of chips in school, things like that. So I know about having it in you at a young age. And then as you were doing entrepreneurship, was there a specific moment in that journey that you decided or you saw that a struggle with small businesses and kind of where that led you to your entrepreneurship initiatives today?
Well, a lot of family members are into entrepreneurship. And so I grew up with an uncle having a furniture business, another uncle having a market stall in nuts and fruits. And I always helped out by preparing for a market, for example. And that gave me the sense of entrepreneurship and freedom and responsibility that comes with it.
Do you think at that point in your journey, did you always feel like that was something that you were called towards? Or do you think at some point later, did you finally put two and two together?
Well, the realization came later, but if we look back, it was pretty obvious. I always made my own path. And I always came up with ideas to do things more efficient or in ways I thought was better. So yeah, I think I was cut for it.
Yeah, that's good. And especially as an entrepreneur, though, it's really easy to go into your own kind of lone wolf stage where you're kind of exploring things on your own and building things from the start up. What made you decide to partner with Elias in this journey and as opposed to going out through it on your own?
Well, I noticed that even though I'm quite stubborn in things, I also like to have a sparring partner in pretty much everything. So working together is like a natural to me.
Yeah.
I really prefer working with people to talk to them, to exchange ideas, and get best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's good. What journey do you think before your path now prepared you the most for the things that you're going through starting BestBonobos, especially with a partner?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I don't think it's one specific thing. It's just a combination of experience and knowledge and everything together.
That's good. Well, yeah, where do you think you got the most knowledge then? If you had to point one place out.
Well, that is a pretty obvious answer because that's just life.
Yeah.
From a young age, I like to talk to people. I've spent a few years abroad, broadened my horizons, and I'm always interested in the story behind the people. I was taught that nothing is wrong; it's just different, and that gives some valuable insights as well.
Oh, definitely, especially coming from a place where you're building a company surrounded by small business owners, connecting with those who feel like they don't have too many resources to rely on. I think that is such a great quality and a great trait to possess, especially if someone within your position.
Yeah,
So with
the talking to the business owners, that's really a thing because everyone is on its own expertise, and one business owner is a real business entrepreneurial kind of owner, and the other one is more born entrepreneur because of his specialism in something or a passion into where he's working on. So to connect with those people, you really have to get a little empathy in there, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think you got, especially coming from one of those two places, do you think you and Elias kind of trade off with that type of business owner to kind of empathize with them?
Yeah, he's more of a natural talker, and I'm more of a natural listener. So I don't
Exactly.
think our podcast will run as long as his,
Exactly.
but that complements us perfectly. Yeah,
No, and that's why I'm grateful his is coming out first. But but exactly, I think you'll show the great balance between you both and how you guys' mindsets differ but complement each other as well. And
yeah, but
so
that's something I always tell business owners as well. Just surround you with people that are like-minded but are different, because everyone gives a different angle to things and gives you something to think about, and you can always grow from other people.
exactly. Perfect. So just while we're still on the origins of kind of Best Bonobos itself and where you started as well, what made you believe that this was a problem worth building a company around within all of the problems that you see throughout your entrepreneurship?
hmm well, I was looking for a new venture, and tech always inspired me. I've been on the tech side of things. I'm no tech nerd, or I haven't got a computer background or programming background, but always been tech savvy, interested in new things. Um, and with the world developing, I thought with AI, it's going to be like a new world order. Um, just like the steam engine changed the world and the internet changed the world, I think AI is going to change the world as well. So why not grab that opportunity and try to help other entrepreneurs?
Yeah,
So that's how
exactly.
we got into building a platform with a little help of AI to guide us, but also the entrepreneur through the whole process.
Right, exactly. And I think that was such a smart idea, obviously, first of all. And then
Thank
going
you.
through that, Best Bonobos is built around, like you said, using technology and AI to help owners understand their business value. So, what makes that approach different than traditional methods, you'd say?
Well, I like to work out problems, like solve problems, and deep dive into them. And what I noticed is that normally, like evaluation has one entry point and one exit point, but it's more complex than that. You can combine multiple methods to evaluate a business. You can also enrich data with AI, and with a bit of knowledge from AI, you know exactly how to do that on a safe side, so you don't get hallucinations, and you know exactly what the outcome is going to be, but you do benchmark to other companies.
Yeah. What do you think are some lessons you've learned throughout technology and especially leveraging AI within the platform as you're building it and as you're seeing things come along?
Well, what I noticed is that my mind is always ahead of the technology. So I had great ideas how to build the valuation machine, but then the prompt engineers had to work on it and the developers, and they all ran into problems and they said, well, we can't really do this. And then what I liked is that to get into touch with them, talk about the problems they ran into and try to figure out how we can do it, because technology is not the limitation, it's there to help us. Um, so yeah, you have to figure a way around it, and sometimes that takes a few months, but the results are good.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think you've gotten some good results so far?
Absolutely, yeah. We've tested the valuation machine extensively, of course, before launching, and I think it's 100% accurate.
Now, with this problem in the market, especially like you said, going through valuation, it's not as easy as it seems. And many business owners assume that they'll eventually sell their business at some point. Why is that actually much harder than people realize?
Well, there's multiple reasons that's much harder because you believe in your product, in your business. You've been working on it for years or even decades. And to you, it's worth a lot. But someone from the outside doesn't look at you as an entrepreneur. It just looks at the business numbers. And sometimes the business numbers tell something different than your passion. So expectations are pretty far apart. And we hope to solve that problem by giving you, as an entrepreneur, some tips on how to bridge that gap.
Yeah, perfect. And so with that, right now we have two sides essentially to your business owning journey with Best Bonobos. We have the side that is growing up and experiencing those entrepreneurs, listening to them, empathizing with them. And now we have the side that is interest in technology, interest in AI coming up. So at what point did you realize that this problem of selling small businesses was way bigger than people think, and to put these two ideas together?
Well, the problem has always been there, and that's why we start building Best Bonobos. But the realization that's something different. I want to talk to as many business owners as possible to get them to understand the possibilities that are there. Because everyone who owns a business has a chance to sell that business for a good amount of money. Once the time is right, of course, but it does take effort and it does take different skills than just being an entrepreneur and also being a good business owner.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes it difficult to get that message across. And of course, I cannot talk to every business owner in the world to explain that they're letting money lay on the side because they just follow their heart, and that makes it difficult.
Exactly. Do you think that has gotten in the way with your journey so far? Do you think you've had a moment where you've kind of let your heart get in the way towards something or initiative that you felt you were really strongly passionate about? Or do
I
you
don't
think
think
you've always been
necessarily.
logical?
I'm quite logical. That makes it a bit easier. But yes, of course, sometimes you follow your heart and then you run into some problems.
And then, so as we're building the company, what has been one of the most surprising challenges about building Best Bonobos so far?
It's what we just talked about, getting the message across,
Yeah.
reaching out to those entrepreneurs because everyone's crazy busy, and I understand that. Your focus is in your business, and next to your business, you'll most likely have a family life as well, a personal life, a social life. And that's already hard to combine with running a business, let alone prepare on selling a business. So that's actually a new full-time job next to your entrepreneurial journey.
Exactly.
So getting the time to talk to those entrepreneurs and deep dive into well, the problems there's that we are trying to solve, that's difficult.
Do you think you have a vision for where you would like that to go in the future, or how you would like to further reach out to entrepreneurs right now who are in this stage of wanting to sell their business but kind of holding their baby at the same time?
Yeah, we try to hope to partner with like the Chamber of Commerce or other entrepreneurial organizations to get the message across that selling your business doesn't have to happen right now or in the near future. But being ready takes time, so better to start early.
Yeah.
It's like saving up for your pension. Everyone says you should save up for your pension, but you're worrying about other things at the moment, like paying off a student debt or saving for a down payment on your house. And the pension will come later, but once it's later, it's mostly too late. And I want to be ahead of that problem. So education is the most important one in this one.
That's perfect. And what do you think excites you about the stage that the company is in right now the most?
Well, the most exciting part is the unknown, the start of things.
As we're on the topic of experiencing and exploring these entrepreneurs and these business owners further into the business and trying to get them integrated onto Best Bonobos and how it could help their daily lives, at what point in the life of a business owner do you think that they should start thinking about exit readiness?
Well, actually, from the start on, because you're starting a business, then you got the most time to set up your process management already. Start documenting from the start. Documenting while you're doing it is easier than after the fact. The same with like a contract or agreements with clients or suppliers, with staff. Make sure you do it right from the start, so a possible transition in the future is much easier.
Yeah, so at this point, if somebody has already started their business and they have not thought about their exit journey at all, at what point do they start doing that? Probably as soon as possible. And where
Probably
should they
as soon as
start?
possible. Yeah.
Yeah. What advice would you give them to start in that journey?
Well, the most important one is just have fun being an entrepreneur. You do not want to do things you don't enjoy. But apart from that, the sooner the better, of course, as you said. And start with a simple documentation of the process. Just write down how things are happening, who's responsible for what, how your supply chain works, how your marketing works, how you get your clients in. Because once you write down what's happening within your company, then you can narrow down if you can work on a sales structure to get more subscriptions, for example. Because that's one of the value drivers, having multiple subscriptions instead of just casual business. Another one is look into your supply chain if there's more efficiency in cost saving. If you keep buying a big bulk, it will lower your cash flow, which lowers your value as well, because stock is not considered an asset. Those are small things to consider and will actually make you a better entrepreneur in the long run as well. So it's not just about preparing for a sale, but just getting more out of your business.
Yeah. And then, so as someone who has kind of gone through a lot of businesses and a lot of entrepreneurial initiatives at this point, what advice would you give to somebody preparing to leave a business that they've grown so fondly of, or a business that they've put a lot of time and effort into, but they know is time to have that exit?
Well, most important is to detach yourself from the main process. Of course, you don't have to detach yourself completely from the company, but every process should have an owner apart from yourself. So once you transition out, things just keep moving without you interfering. And that's the hardest part, because I know as an entrepreneur, you like to micromanage. You know how the things work. Your hands are everywhere in the company.
Exactly. And now, as we tie things together, what is one of the biggest things that you have learned, or especially before BestBonobos, before anything in your adulthood, especially within your childhood, that kind of brings you back to the entrepreneurship that you have today?
Well, don't fear what's in front of you. Just go for it. Go with the flow, and just do it.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important one. But luckily, most entrepreneurs already have that spirit, because otherwise they wouldn't have been an entrepreneur to start with. But just keep that with you. Exactly.
And I think you've kept that with you so far, which is what has gotten you so far. And so with our final closing question, if you could give one piece of advice to entrepreneurs building their business today, what would it be?
Well, do what you love. That's the most important thing. If you are a company that's heavily relying on yourself, and that's just what you love to do, don't force yourself out just for the possibility to sell in the future. Just stick to what you love doing, and keep doing that.
Thank you so much, Sebastiaan, for joining us today and providing us with a lot of great insight. Now it's your time to plug anything you would like. So if you would have any last words for the viewers, or anything you would like to plug in or say or shout out, now's your time.
Well, I want to shout out to every business owner. If you're interested, drop me an email or a DM, and we'll have you on the podcast as well, because I'd love to hear your story.
Exactly. Sebastiaan and I, Leisha and Elias, will all of us will be doing podcast hosting from now on. So if you would like to be on the podcast, if you have an interesting story that you would like to share with Business Owners Unfiltered, please contact us and we will have you on the podcast as soon as possible. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us, Sebastiaan. I hope you all have a great rest of your time. And signing off.
Thank you for hosting as well. And how was your first time hosting?
Oh my gosh, it was definitely a journey. I have done this, but off of camera. So it was one thing to do on camera, one thing to do off, and especially with somebody with a lot of insights and business knowledge as yourself. So it was definitely a fun experience for me, for sure. I can't wait to do some more with you as well.
Well, thank you. I feel humbled.
Yeah, of course. Otherwise, thank you guys so much, and you have a good rest of your day.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Head over to bestbonobos.com to learn more. With Best Bonobos, you can sell your business simply.